We have had a tremendous response to this session. It's amazing how many people have signed up, so we're glad you're all here. So Gary and I will go back and forth. Gary will handle more the technical side of the post-harvest, and I'll maybe be a little bit more operations driven. And hopefully you come away with some good stuff here. So stating the obvious here, why is care and handling of flowers important? Well, you can read it here. We're dealing with a perishable commodity. We, as an industry, share that with restaurants, and reducing shrink and keeping quality up is what's going to drive profits. We're dealing with discretionary income from consumers, and so that's something we want to make sure we give them good quality so that they come back. And the bottom, which is really two very important points, which is there's just so many places for flowers to be mishandled. And hopefully by going through this course, you're going to get some steps to help some of these problems that are going on and address that into your business. And the final thing at the bottom there is net profit. So studies have shown that if you exercise a full care and handling protocol in your store versus doing nothing, you can add 2 to 4% of net profit into your business. So for every $100,000 of gross sales you're generating in your operation, you're looking to put $2,000 to $4,000 in your pocket after you pay for the chemicals, the labor, and all the other things that go into doing things right. So Smithers Oasis and Floralife does a lot of consumer and floral surveying. And this is a study that was a little bit old, but it really kind of bears out what we're talking about here. The data really hasn't changed much. And it shows influences on customer behavior when you come in and buy flowers. So look at this as everything that drives somebody into your shop. And for the purposes of what we're doing today, we're focusing on the top two, which is quality and value. So quality is two things, really. It's the quality of the flowers, but also how good of a designer you are at producing the end result. So we're partially responsible for that. The second one we're very responsible for, which is a value. So, you know, value in an arrangement is a pretty simple math equation. It's how long it lasts divided by how much it costs. And if you have an arrangement that lasts 10 days and costs $50, I mean, it's going to be a lot more valuable to you than a $50 arrangement that lasts 5. The rest of the stuff underneath there, it's kind of your job. If you're a nice person, you can get stuff to them on time and do all the other things that a florist is known for. So this pyramid represents where we're going today with post-harvest. And this was actually the steps that we as a company like to address when we go in and audit someone to make sure that they have good care and handling practices. This is more of a retail pyramid, but I worked with one of our top customers, and he actually worked with me in kind of exposing me to this concept of let's do a pyramid for how we address post-harvest. So as we look at this, we always build the pyramid from the bottom up. And if you're working on finishing sprays first in your shop, that's probably not the way to go. So we will take these in order. The other thing is, as you see on the bullet points here, you want to adopt a post-harvest plan for your operation. So I will go into a flower shop and people will say, well, I use this and that chemical. And I'm interested in that, but I'm more interested in how they use it and how they set up a plan that works in their business model to maximize post-harvest. And it has to be implementable. You can have 27 chemicals underneath your sink, and if you don't use any of them right, that's not an implementable system. The final thing is real versus ideal. Gary and I will speak mostly to what we feel is the ideal way to do post-harvest. All of you have different business models that you have to deal with, and you're all going to have some different scenarios where you may not be able to implement the ideal solution. And that's okay. Our job is to give you the tools to be able to implement a system so you can take the ideal way to take post-harvest and make it into a system that works as best as possible in your shop.